So we'll start with the meaning of corporate governance. So corporate governance is the system by which companies are directed and controlled. Corporate governance is framed to govern the top management. We know that to control the middle and the lower level management, we can use the internal control and internal audit. And to control the activities of the top management, we use the corporate governance. So the shareholders are the owners of the company, okay, and to run the company, they have the board of directors and the CEO. So in order to check how well they are performing, the shareholders use the corporate governance as a mechanism to control the company here. So it is a triangular kind of a relationship between the shareholder, the CEO or management, and the board of directors. So here we will look at what is the principal agent relationship between the shareholders and the CEO. We will also see what kind of problems this will lead to and how to resolve those problems. So here we will start with the agency concept or theory. So a principal hires an agent to do a job for the principal's benefit. Okay. So if you take a company, it works like this. Principals are the shareholders. They can't come to the company and manage the company on a daily basis. So they appoint an agent who is called as the CEO. So these people are the agents of the company and they are called as the company executives or CEO. So whenever we use agent to do a principal's work, what happens is the agent might start to act in his own self-interest. So if both parties to the relationship are utility maximizers, there's good reason to believe that the agent will not always act in the best interest of the principal. So the shareholder wants to make money. At the same time, when the CEO also wants to make excessive money means, then there's a good chance the CEO will cheat the shareholders, because the shareholders are not going to come and check the CEO on a daily basis. So the CEO is at a liberty to take some of the assets of the company, to misuse the assets, to take some of the income of the company for his personal gains. So this is what we have a problem of agency concept. So here we have a diagrammatic representation here. We have the principal shareholder, we have the agent who is the CEO. So the principal hires the agent and the agent has to perform as per what the principal says. Principal has his own self-interest of to make more money, but sometimes the CEO also might have his own self-interest of to make more money. So this can lead to a problem. So there are actually like two kinds of problem in this agency concept. One is when the CEO is taking away money from the company and using for his personal benefit, or there's another problem like this. When the desires or goals of the principal and the agent are in conflict and the principal is unable to verify what the agent is actually doing. So the goal of the shareholder is to make more money, but the agent who is the CEO is making more money for himself. So that can be a problem here. Or two, when the principal and agent have different attitudes towards risk. So assume that the shareholders want the company to take more risk, but the CEO, as he's an employee of the company, he doesn't want to take more risk. So it can also be vice versa. But still, this is the problem of agency concept. So the first problem is there's a mismatch in the goals of the shareholder and the CEO. In the second, there's a mismatch of the risk perception and risk-taking ability of both the parties. So whenever a company uses an agent or whenever someone uses an agent, there is a cost which is always involved. Okay. So the first cost is the cost incurred if the agent uses company's resources for his own benefit. Assume that there is no kind of checking mechanism like what the CEO is doing. In that case, the CEO might loot a lot of the company's income. Okay. So that might be the loss for a company. So that is actually a cost to the company. How much ever the CEO steals from the company, that is a cost. Okay, this is a cost which is being incurred if the company is not using any controlling activities to prevent that stealing. Or the second case is the cost of techniques that the principals use to prevent the agent from prioritizing his interest over the shareholders. Assume the shareholders want to reduce the level of fraud by the CEO. They have to create some kind of another checking mechanism. some kind of supervising mechanism over the CEO. To create that kind of checking mechanism or supervising mechanism, they have to spend money. They have to spend some cost. Okay, so that can be a cost for the agency. So either allow the CEO to steal how much ever he wants, or spend some money on the controls so that his stealing is reduced, but the cost of supervising him goes up. So the company, the shareholder has to decide which one is a better mechanism. Usually the second one, this one is what companies have preferred. So here you will get a detailed idea about what is this concept about. To prevent the agent from acting to benefit himself, shareholders may offer financial incentives to keep shareholders' interest as the top priority. So the shareholders are giving some kind of financial incentive to the agent so that he acts in the benefit of the principal's interest. This typically means paying bonus to management if and when share price increases, or by making the management salary partially by shares in the company. How can we mingle the CEO's interest and the shareholders' interest together? See, shareholders want to have higher share price, then only they can make good money. Somewhere, if the shareholder says to the CEO that if you are going to give us a high share price in the future, then you are eligible for a bonus. So now the interest of the shareholder, which is a high share price, and the interest of the CEO, which is to make more money, are linked. Okay, so the higher the CEO tries and ensures that the share price goes up, he will get the bonus. So this is actually a cost for the company because they are paying a higher incentive here, but still it helps the shareholders to achieve their target of a higher share price. These monetary incentives are an example of agency cost. If the incentive plan works correctly, however, these agency costs will be lower than the cost of allowing the management to act in his own interest. So rather than allowing the CEO to loot all the money, it's better to link his self-interest and the company's shareholders' self-interest together and give him some kind of a bonus for performance achievement. So here you have this typical kind of agency cost, which is like given in the pictorial representation. Okay, so one, we allow him to loot, that is called as divergence. We have some kind of a monitoring activities to reduce his cheating on the company, CEO cheating on the company. That monitoring is a cost. We give some kind of an incentive bonus to the CEO so that he acts for the benefit of the shareholders. That incentive is also a cost. So these are the costs the company has to incur. So why do we need this corporate governance in the first place? We'll see what corporate governance is in the next few slides, but why do we need it? See, the problem is, if we don't have corporate governance at all, few individuals will dominate the board and they will have excessive influence over the decisions of the company. Sometimes the board of directors who are appointed might not have sufficient knowledge to run the company. Executive directors might be receiving a huge amount of pay package. The company might start to focus on short-term profitability, and the CEOs might try to get the bonus, and that might become their primary aim. The CEOs might start to manipulate the accounts. The internal control system might not be stronger. There's no supervision in the middle and the lower management. Okay, there's no relationship, much of a contact between the shareholders and the board of directors. All these problems, individual small problems, might one point of time lead to corporate governance issues, which leads to corporate scandals. So there are like n number of companies which have seen corporate scandals. Companies like Enron, Toshiba, Olympus, WorldCom, or Satyam. So there are like many companies have faced the corporate governance. If you look at the corporate governance scandals of every company, it is something like that you can find out a common pattern among all these companies, and usually you will see these kinds of factors which have led to the corporate scandal.
So if you guys really like the video, put a like for us and share it with your friends who might find it useful. So if you guys have any queries or questions, post it in the comment section. We'll be like happy to answer them. If you guys have any other ideas for further videos, you can put it in the comment section. We'll be like creating a new video on that topic also. So thank you guys. We'll meet in the next video.